Well, let me tell you this story properly, because this Dustwater wasn't the kind of town you'd find on any map, and you wouldn't have wanted to find it if you had a lick of sense. It was a place where the law got lost in the dust, and that dust would rise so high you could choke on it before you even got to drink a glass of the lousy whiskey that was hard to find in those parts. If you ended up there, it meant you were either really, truly lost, or you were being chased by someone even crazier than all the loonies in town, and believe me, there were plenty. Right in the middle of town, where the dust danced like at a ball, stood the Penrose Hotel, the only building with clean curtains, as if the other houses had been brought in by a tornado, or maybe by some drunks who didn't know when to stop drinking. The hotel owner, Clara Penrose, was a woman in her 40s, but she looked like time was afraid to touch her, the way a boy is afraid of a good old-fashioned beating. She always carried a long rifle, taller than any of her customers, and people whispered that she slept with it under her pillow, but no one dared to ask, because her stare made you remember all your debts. One evening, as the sun was lazily dragging itself behind the hills, like an old man who doesn't want to go to bed, for bandits dressed in black, with masks on their faces and silent as shadows, burst into the bank next to the hotel. They fired a few shots to scare people, but the folks in the bank, being smart, bolted straight for the Penrose Hotel with the bags of money in their arms, as if it were Fort Knox. "Mrs. Penrose!" the teller gasped, his face as red as a turkey's wattle. "You hold them off, because we can't." "Oh, me again?" Clara grumbled, raising an eyebrow. "Do you think my hotel is some kind of castle with cannons?" But as I'm telling you, that hotel was even more than that. So Clara pulled back the curtain from the window, and you heard it, bang, 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 3 shots that echoed like thunder. One bandit lost his hat, another his horse, and the third, his nerve, for they took off like a bat out of hell through the twilight dust, cursing up a storm. The next day, the whole town was buzzing like an overturned beehive. Everyone knew that Dustwater needed a sheriff, because without one, it was like a boy without a stick, or a girl without a doll. Fortunately, the midday train brought exactly what was needed, a tall man with eyes as sharp as knives and a walk as if every step was a sacred command. "My name's Wyatt," he said calmly, stepping off the train car. The crowd stood with their mouths agape, as if they had seen a ghost. Clara Penrose arched her eyebrow. "Wyatt Earp. Well, Sheriff, I hope you aren't related to that Earp who lost 3 cows in a poker game and 2 wives at dice." "No, ma'am. I only lose bandits,"